Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is importance of being computer and technology literate individual. In this 21st century setup, technology is everywhere and embedded to our society or term digital age. For our new topic and discussion, we will learn something and expand our knowledge about technology. We have a guest today. Let's all welcome Mr. Machu Petaka, IT consultant of Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Welcome to the show, Mr. Machu Petaka. So let's start for the first question. For the first question, how are you in this time of pandemic?
Hello, good afternoon. So I'm Matthew. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. So I've been working as a IT consultant for almost 10 years now. So I work with Goodyear tires to implement IT controls, and at the same time working with internal controls to make sure that our controls are in place. And I'm also working with global cybersecurity teams all over Goodyear tires globally. Okay, so going back to the first question, so I think I'm doing good now in pandemic, despite that we're all having some struggles since we're not allowed to go outside, right? And our family are all encountered this type of restrictions at our home. But given that we're still working and we're still given opportunity to work, I think it's a good thing to cherish with. Okay.
Okay, for the second question, what are your skills?
Okay. So my skills would be SAP security. So it primarily focus on giving access to the users in SAP software. So, and at the same time, it also monitors SAP security transaction monitoring in our company, which is Goodyear Tires.
Okay, for the third question, let's talk about technology. In your own words, what is technology?
So technology for me, technology help us to make our life easier, to make transactions more lighter than the usual, because as we all know, technology gives us options to use things, to use what do you call this one, to use things, to use the process from manual to automated.
Okay, for the next question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of technology?
So yep, just like what I said earlier, no, that one of the advantage of technology is it makes our life more easier. So one big example of this is using our cellular phone with the use of internet. So it makes us closer to the people that far from us. Let's say, for example, we'd like to communicate to the persons abroad. So we'll be using technology, but one of the main disadvantage of this is the exposure or the hours of exposure that we use to on the technology. So as by using our cellular phones, we tend to communicate to the people that's closer to us, like our family. So it's like, if for example on our dinner, instead of us having some chit chat or having some bonding, but we used our cell phones instead. So I think that's one of the disadvantage of technology.
So for the next question, why did you choose technology as your field?
So I guess 10 years ago, I see some opportunities on the technology, since some kind of booming on our company, since we're in the third world country, no. um, we're still in the process of automating our systems, like in the government, in some private institutions. So I think it's a good way to start your career.
Okay, for the next question. How does technology help you from everyday life?
Mhm. So I guess on our home, it helps us on our daily chores, like on our doing our daily dishes. So instead of washing our dishes manually, we have this automated dishwasher. So it saves us time. So instead of doing it manually, we have time to bond with our baby. And other thing is, we have our internet. So we ordered food instead of cooking. So I think it gives us more awful time to bond, and also to make other tasks. Yep.
Yes, technology is
Mhm.
everywhere. Next
Yes.
question is, who is your inspiration in technology field?
Uh, I guess one of my inspiration
Is my college one of our college professor in our university, because he taught us um, some advanced technologies back in 2010, and he gives us pointers that I'm up until now been using. So right now I think he's in the US already, and I'd like to uh, follow his steps in his work.
Okay, for the
Mm.
next question, do you think technology can help improving our country, and why?
Yep, I think yes, no. And I think it will help our government in terms of automating the process in our government offices. So one example of this is the PSA, or the statistical office. They already automated their process. We can already request for our birth certificate online. So I guess if more of our government offices will automate their process, like the SSS or the PhilHealth or Pag-ibig, it will help our local individuals, like for claiming sickness benefits, or claiming salary loan. So instead of going to their main branch of the office, we can just then request online. I think it could free up time of the resource on our government offices. At the same time, it can have simple individual.
Okay, for the next question, for you, what is the best invention in technology?
I think one best invention of technology is the internet for me, because it connects different countries. It connects different kind of people. As we all know, unlike way back in 50s or 60s, we have here in our time, we can stream music from different countries, right? So we can share our different uh, views. We can share our different culture to the others in social media as well, by the use of internet.
For the next question, is it
Mhm.
important to be technologically literate, especially nowadays, and why?
Mm. In Yep, I think all the people should be um, technology literate, because as we all know, during this time of pandemic, not all of government offices are open to uh, to a lot of people. We only have limited personnel to be catered off. So um, they only process requests through online. So by means of that, I think all of us, including our parents, should know of using their cell phones as their medium of communication to our government offices. So they should be able to, file their request online, used by the use of their cell phones. At the same time, they should be also know of using their cell phones in ordering foods, right? So, yep.
Next question. In your opinion, what age is suitable in using technology?
For me, what age? I think should be more than 5 years old, because as we all know, there should be limit in exposing our children's in technology. For example, the cellular phones or televisions, because it can hinder their development, their speaking, their hearing. So as advised by our pedia or by the doctors, there should be limit in exposing our children's, and it should be up by there should be 5 years old and up.
Next question. What skill can you impart to aspiring technology students?
So I guess they should be flexible enough to adapt to the new technologies. So they should not be only stick into one technology. So I guess one example of this is that they should not be only focusing in one what do you call this, in one set of technologies. Let's say infrastructure, because technology has different branches. It's just like the science. We have programming, we have infrastructure, we have software technologies. So I guess they should be flexible enough to adapt in different kind of technologies outside.
Okay, for the second to the last question, how do you imagine the world without technology?
I think it's pretty hard to imagine, because almost all of the local companies and also international companies it's been using technologies to support their manpowers. So I think it will be pretty hard for them to process, like making goods, making different kind of clothes, making different kind of things that we use at our home. I mean, all of those companies using technology. Imagine without their machines, without using those machines, they're not be able to make their products. It will it will require them more time, more manpower to make those necessary things to produce different products. So that will be hard to imagine, and also that will be much expensive compared to what they're being used to now.
For the last question, what can you say to the students who are pursuing technological course?
So I guess my advice would be keep it up. I think they're already in the right track, since as mentioned, we're on the third world country. We have a lot of things to improve in terms of technology. We have a lot of things to adapt from the first world countries like the US, UK, Canada. I mean, we have a lot of things to learn from them. So since they are way ahead compared to us. By the use of technology, will be able to adapt what they had and be more flexible enough, as I said earlier, to adapt in different kind of technologies. So not be only focused on infrastructure, might be also focused in software development, programming. So who else? I mean, what else can we what else, or who, what do you mean by that now? mean, let's say for now you're just an student, but who knows, by 5 years or 10 years from now we'll be able to innovate or develop one of the most used technologies in the future, like current technology now, like Facebook or Twitter. So maybe one of you guys can develop that kind of software as well. Yep.
Okay, and that's the end of our interview today. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Macho Petaka. We really appreciate your time and your discussion about technology.
Okay, thank you for having me in your show, and I'm looking forward to those individuals that will be graduated in your university. Thank you.
Thank you.